Okay, so the first quadrant says, what is important to all of you on the team about being a high performing team? These are things that we value collectively, not behaviors.
Like turning in our best work, like everybody putting forth the effort.
I would agree with that.
Quality effort.
Yep.
I would say like preparedness, like competency that people know. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I think also like an overall good attitude, like a willingness to collaborate.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a good one.
How about ability to effectively communicate?
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Does anyone want to add anything else to that section?
I think that's good for that one.
Add with effective communication, just like the level of like respect.
Yeah.
Like being able to have different ideas, but being able to respect the ideas of each person as well.
Definitely.
So the next box says, when you think about being a high performing team, what thoughts or feelings show up that might get in your way?
I know I'm always concerned, like, if I'm doing enough or doing good enough, and that can kind of affect probably my timeliness because I'm going over my work so much.
Yeah, I'm always worried that I like did my part correctly.
Yeah.
So like I put in the time and effort, but I don't know if it's right or if that's gonna mess up the group because I had the wrong answer.
Like second guessing yourself?
Yeah.
I think that
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to add another point, just I get fearful of like things not being done on time.
It's like you don't have any control over everybody else's.
Yeah, like I don't have control. I
timeliness.
get fearful that my grade's gonna get affected because like if someone's not done with their stuff.
You could do afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
How about like being afraid to speak up due to like confusion or like not understanding?
Yeah.
I guess that's under afraid to ask questions, but
Yeah.
Well, even like maybe if any of us disagreed with what someone's work said, like,
Yeah.
Right.
So afraid, I guess, to
providing
like
the
ask
feedback.
questions or contradict someone.
yeah.
Yeah, like putting in your critiques and stuff like that.
Okay.
Getting frustrated only because I think that sometimes when teams work together as a group, like maybe if someone chooses to do something like a different route than you would have done it, and maybe there's not necessarily an agreement on how you wanted it done, but maybe the group does like a majority vote or something and someone chooses it, there may be like frustration at I don't know, with the way the process went.
You could do confusion too. It's really difficult when we're all in like totally different locations.
Yeah.
It's not like we can all sit down at a table and like do it all.
Yeah. I think that looks good.
yeah, I like that you added requirements too.
Okay.
Next one. Oh, no. Hold on. It is not thrilled that I have so many windows open. And it exited. Does anybody know what the questions are by chance? Or have the questions up?
It says, what do you do to move away from or under the control of the bottom left? So I would say, like communicating with the group to make sure we're all on the same page.
So
as far as like confusion goes, I guess.
like review expectations with the group.
Yeah.
I know in this one we did the behavior your contract.
Yeah.
Is this the one though where it's like things that get in the way, and then the right other one is things that would help you move towards your goals?
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, the other one's like, what could you be seen doing to move towards the goal?
Yeah.
So getting away from the stuff that we said get in the way. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. I would say like asking like for clarification, I guess, because we had said, oh, I can't scroll back to the bottom.
I would definitely say like frequent communication.
Okay, this one says, what do you do to move away from or under the control of that bottom left stuff? These are behaviors that you do when you have the thoughts and feelings you described below.
So yeah, because these are behaviors that aren't necessarily helpful for us to reach our values. Like you might, I mean, they might be, but it's like I'm fearful, so I dictate when people should do things.
Rather than
Yeah,
speaking
it would
up.
be stuff like that, I think.
For confusion, I would say just ask anyway. Like even if everyone else knows, I would still just ask. I'd rather be on the same page as everyone and people be like, oh my God, she asked so many questions. But at least I know what I'm doing.
I think, Lauren, that might go in the one on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is more like if you're confused, maybe you don't say anything because you don't.
So it can't be positive. Okay, the love quadrant.
I think that's the way I understood it. Is that how other people were understanding
I'd
it?
say like, what do you do to move away from? So I wouldn't think that it would be the stuff that keeps you confused. I would think it would be the opposite because it's saying move
Okay.
away from. I don't know. What do you think?
Up my individual matrix and see what I put on it.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Because on my individual matrix, I had put stuff like based off the definition that you read, Danielle, with like the further instructions on it. It's like kind of things that were getting in the way.
I wrote things that would help me get away from them. So I wrote like create a written list of tasks to be completed, design feedback surveys for team members.
Yeah, I think that's what I did on mine too.
So did I.
Find timelines and due date.
Hey Danielle, is there any way you could zoom out of your screen a little bit to see both of them? Perfect, thank you.
I'm gonna ask questions.
Yeah, I see what Brittany's saying too, because I put a little bit of both, like to move away from it, like I stress out or I get distracted or, things like that. But then I also put positive things too, like
right,
talking to others to try to talk myself through it, get support, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I think what I had on the directions for the individual one, it said, what do you do to move away from what's already on there? But these behaviors that you do when you have the thoughts and feelings you described in the lower left. So it's like, this is what you do when you feel this way.
Yeah. I think it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think it could be both too. It's just, it said, what do you do when you're having those thoughts and feelings? And so that's where I was like, well, I typically would, if I'm fearful of people not turning stuff in on time, I might like send out reminders of when to do things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So I think we're just saying the same thing, just
Yeah.
I think
different
it
ways.
definitely be both. Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse it further.
No, it's fine. That's why we're talking through it, and it's a perfect example. Get confused.
We'll kind of shift back and forth between this third and fourth quadrant to get them. This last quadrant in the upper right corner says, what could you as a team be seen doing to move towards what's important? So these are behaviors and actions someone else could see you doing if you were acting in accordance with the values in the lower right corner. One in quality assignments, you were reviewing other members' portions for feedback.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like before we submit.
Sorry, go.
You could
I was just saying before.
Open-minded. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, Joe.
That's okay. I was just saying reviewing other people's stuff before we submit,
Yeah.
like before we do feedback.
Asking the feedback of others and maybe encouraging others to share their ideas.
Yeah. I
Like,
think also just like asking for understanding or letting someone know like I want to understand your side. Here's where I'm coming from, just to kind of speak on that effective communication and willingness to collaborate.
for sure.
Okay.
Actively participating, showing up to every meeting, and, speaking and sharing those ideas.
Yeah.
I think staying open-minded's an important one too, especially when you have a big group and everyone has different ideas.
Yeah.
I'm missing some of the things that you guys are saying. So if you don't see something on here that I missed, feel free to tell me.
It's looking good so far.
Danielle, I had just said like seeking understanding.
How do you want to turn that into a behavior?
So I said like asking them when you weren't understanding. So you might, you have asking for feedback of others. That it doesn't just have to be about work, I guess. I think that looks good.
Okay, was there anything else that we want to add to this top left one about things that we do that move away from our thoughts and feelings?
I don't know. One of the other things that I said on my personal one was like sometimes I just feel like I dictate too much. I don't know if anyone else feels that way.
You said in the bottom left?
No, like, because I said that I get fearful of timeliness or like afraid people aren't going to get their stuff done. So then sometimes I feel like I like might go overboard and like trying to help people and not giving them like the trust and opportunity to succeed without micromanaging. Great word.
I, for one, will say I appreciate every reminder.
Me too. Me too.
Well, I'm glad. I think overall this looks good. Does anybody else see areas where we need to add?
No, I think it looks good.
Yeah, I don't. I think it looks really good.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Well,
Well, great.
we'll get it ready to submit then.
Everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Good.